Not many paintings on display at the National Portrait Gallery that look like this. Tell me about this painting.
This is a unique and incredible portrait of the three Brontë sisters, showing from left to right Anne, Emily and Charlotte, painted by their brother Branwell. He's only about 17 when he produces this.
It's a fascinating object for so many reasons, not just because you can actually kind of go back in time and see these three women who are now household names just as young girls at home. This is before the fame.
Absolutely, yeah. It's at least 10 years before they're writing their sort of mature works, but it is significant that they're standing around a table with books placed on it.
So Branwell's only 17 when he paints this, which is the equivalent of today someone having one of their, A-level coursework pictures hang on the walls of the National Portrait Gallery. Does he become an artist? Is this the beginning of a career?
So each of the children were taught painting by a local artist. Branwell saw it as a real opportunity. He had an interest in taking it up and did try to live for a year as a portrait painter, but it wasn't a great success, and he returned to the parsonage.
I suppose because we know how important these three women are, the painting takes on this other kind of life. And there's this kind of ghostly shape here, and I'm wondering what that is.
So it's almost certain that this is a self-portrait by Branwell Brontë. It's unfinished, even though the rest of the painting isn't done to a very high degree of finish. It's only a couple of sort of marks that can be seen under sort of ultraviolet light of the face. He was clearly unsatisfied with his bit of the portrait and painted a column right over the top.
I mean, this painting is not in good condition. Talk to me about its life. What happened to it? It seems like it would have been an important family heirloom. How did it end up like this?
So, as is well known about the Brontë sisters, that they become famous in 1847 with the publication of Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights and Agnes Grey. And tragically, within a year, first of all, Branwell, who, unlike his sisters, lacked the sort of discipline and drive to really create an incredible career for himself, and sadly became effectively an alcoholic. He was the first of this set of siblings to die from probably bronchitis at the end of 1848. Emily follows suit a month later, and in the next year, Anne dies trying to recover from bronchitis in Scarborough. This leaves just Charlotte. She marries her father's curate, who's probably one of the few men around who isn't her dad, and less than a year later, tragically, she dies during pregnancy.
So what happens to the painting if all the siblings have gone?
After Charlotte's death, her husband takes it with him to Ireland and folds it up and hides it on top of a cupboard. And it's in this condition that the painting came to the gallery in 1914. And an extraordinary decision was made not to try and tidy up and restore it, but to preserve it exactly as it was when it was found on top of that cupboard. It's a unique record of these sisters. It's the only portrait that shows them all.
I mean, it's an incredible historical document, and I suppose the decision to leave the scars intact tells us something about its journey through history, and it makes it all the more exciting for the viewer.
Absolutely. When this work was unveiled in 1914, it was a front-page news story, and it was reported that there was a small siege of people trying to get into the gallery to see it.
Well, I can understand why people flock to the National Portrait Gallery to see this. I mean, it's a great story. You want to come face-to-face with these fantastic heroes of literature.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that the only other comparable portrait to this in the gallery, the Brontë sisters painted in their sort of youth by their brother Branwell, is a beautifully intimate drawing of Jane Austen by her sister Cassandra. They had a similarly intense friendship between siblings as the Brontës. The drawing was made in about 1810, so a generation before this painting. But just as Branwell's portrait captures this intense relationship between siblings, Cassandra's drawing of Jane Austen does exactly the same.
And I think that's why it's so special they're here at the National Portrait Gallery, because this place is as equally about the sitters as it is about the artworks, and so they're perfect examples of that. A painting like this demonstrates the unique strength of the National Portrait Gallery's collection. They can acquire work outside of the boundaries of art history. It's not just a fascinating historic document, it's an insight, it's a familial portrait, and it says so much about the Brontë sisters.